Welcome back to my messy to minimal mama journey, where today I bring you another real life messy house clean, declutter, and organize with me. In today's video, I will be decluttering all of these little nitty gritty clutter piles here that you see. And if you know anything about clutter, you know it can be super overwhelming. And so if you're anything like me and you too struggle with cleaning house while living with anxiety and depression, procrastination, feeling unmotivated to clean your house most of the time, or maybe you're just too overwhelmed by the mess that you don't know how to get started, then this video is definitely for you. I'm here to bring you that real life cleaning motivation along with real life minimalism for beginners. So if you are ready to take back control of the mess in your home, then together we can declutter our home and mind right here, right now. Let's do it. Hey guys, this is my first video back for the new year. Happy New Year. I just wanted to bring you a quick video just to help those of you like myself who are struggling with cleaning the mess, but feeling too overwhelmed and don't know how to get started. Maybe you're sitting around a pile of clutter or a messy house and you just feel stuck and you don't know where to begin. I am here to help you get started right now with me. Okay, so we're just gonna jump right into decluttering this clutter here. So the first thing I do when decluttering a space is I dump all the clutter straight onto the floor so I can sit down and sort all the clutter into different piles or categories. Now, it really depends on how detail oriented you want to get with the sorting. If you're already feeling stuck and overwhelmed by the mess, then I suggest you keep it very basic when it comes to sorting out your piles, just to get that momentum started and get yourself moving along with decluttering altogether. And what I mean by this is you're just going to do some basic sorting, which means you're going to go ahead and make a pile for just only all the toys. It doesn't matter what toy it is, just if it's a toy, put it in one pile. So you're going to start by sorting a toy category. And then if you find paperwork, any type of papers, put all the papers into one pile. Then another category would be your clothes. It doesn't matter if it's your clothes mixed in with your kids' clothes or it's dirty clothes and clean clothes. Just throw all the clothes into one pile. And then, of course, you make another pile for just books. And then there are those random household items that you will find amongst your kids' clutter. Don't ask how or why, but if you're a mom, then you know. For instance, I found my sunglasses that I lost many, many months ago. So that was quite the surprise. I was super happy because I was looking all over the place for these things. And yeah, so that's why I'm wearing sunglasses on my head throughout the rest of this video. See, if I never decluttered, I would have never found them. All the more reason why decluttering is absolutely necessary, and just throwing all the stuff away is not the solution to minimalism. And now I say all this because I have received comments, why do I bother going through all the clutter and the junk, as they call it? I should just throw everything away and just make my life easier. It's just not the solution for people like me who also struggle with hoarding, which I will touch on in later videos in my Hoarder House Cleanup series that I have started. But psychologically, it is more detrimental to just toss everything away. Besides, if you have OCD like I do, and you will obsess constantly over the fact that maybe you threw away something very important without knowing about it, that would just eat me alive. Like for instance, my sunglasses, I would have threw them away. So no, sorry, but throwing things away is just not the solution for me. If it is for you, great. By all means, do it. Just throw it all out. Also, I don't like adding to the landfill. That's why I take the time to declutter, because I like to recycle items and be able to donate what no longer serves as a purpose here as a family. Just wanted to put that out there. Okay, so going back to decluttering, I have already given you the very general and basic way of sorting the clutter. Basically, toys with toys, clothes with clothes, books with books, etc., etc. This is the least stressful and overwhelming way to declutter your clutter. I highly recommend this way if you clicked on today's video because you are overwhelmed by the mess and you're having trouble knowing how to start and where to begin. definitely use the basic way of sorting. However, it is going to take you a little longer, and there is like another step to sorting. You're going to kind of do a double categorization where you're going to pull out your trash and your donation items. So then you'll be left with your keep items. This is the way I recommend doing it, especially if you're a beginner to minimalism and you just have trouble starting and getting that motivation to start. This is going to be the simplest way to dive into it. Now, with that being said, there is what I like to call the next level of sorting your clutter. And that's kind of like working all in one round instead of taking the next step to pull out your trash and pull out your donation pile, which when you are deciding what to donate, keep in mind that this is where decluttering gets the hardest, especially if you struggle with hoarding tendencies or, are a hoarder like myself. That is going to be your biggest struggle is what do you let go of? Because the whole point of decluttering is to let go of the excess. And sometimes that's hard to make that decision. So that's why I highly recommend doing the general sorting first. Don't even bother trying to figure out what you want to get rid of or what you want to keep. Just get the clutter into the separate categories so that when you are done sorting the general piles, you can go take a break, take a drink of water, clear your head for a minute before you need to sit down with each pile and decide, okay, what am I going to let go of? What no longer serves me or my family a purpose that I can let go of, and it can become somebody else's treasure who is less fortunate and, cannot afford this item. And then you can donate that. And then if it's something super sentimental that you are really having trouble parting with, take a picture. Actually, if you watch through to the end of this video, you will see that I am taking pictures of my daughter's paintings. She really didn't want to let go of them, but she does not want to display them on her walls in her room either. So I suggested to her, let's take a picture, then you'll always have the memory. And then I don't have to worry about storing these in her closet where they're just going to collect dust and just take up, unnecessary space. So if you're someone who struggles with a sentimental attachment to your items or belongings, then this is a great solution. Just take a picture. You can always frame it, put it up on the shelf where you can look at it all the time if you really love that item that much. And then, of course, your trash. Pull out your items that are broken or have missing parts. You're not going to get around to fixing it. So it's time to discard it and let it go. Because remember, the whole point of decluttering is to get rid of the excess. Okay, that's why we're on our minimalism journey. So you have to remind yourself, why do you want to become a minimalist? I love this quote, and I can't remember exactly how it goes. I'm actually going to look for it and put it up at the end of this video for you guys. It really falls in line with my way of thinking when it comes to minimalism. It basically says something along the lines of, when we leave this earth, we do not take with us the things that we own. We only take with us the memories in our soul. And it's so true. It really does align with my way of minimalism, which is decluttering my home, mind, and soul. Clutter can really weigh us down, not only in our homes, but in our minds and in our soul. And so going back to the next level sorting, that's where you're going to make your decision in what you're going to keep and donate while you're creating the piles. And it could become very overwhelming when you still have a big, huge pile of clutter that you still have to sort out. So that's why I highly recommend doing it in baby steps where you just literally do the general basic sorting first. Then you could go take a break, take a drink of water, come back, and then you can sit down and decide, okay, this is the big part. What am I going to let go of? What am I going to keep? And you have to choose what you're letting go of based on does it serve you a purpose or your family member a purpose? Can you use it within even the next 2 weeks? If not, let it go. It can become somebody else's treasure. You would be surprised how much light you can add to somebody else's life just by that one item that maybe they could never afford or they can never have. So try to think of it in that way. That's, just another way I go about when I'm decluttering. Because the overall goal here is we want to declutter our space and we want to become minimalist. And that's all part of becoming a minimalist. You have to detach from the items. And I'm going to talk more about all that in future videos. But yeah, in terms of today's video, I just wanted to help you guys get started decluttering because you're overwhelmed and you don't know how to get started, right? So that's what I'm doing. I am breaking it down for you step by step. So to avoid that overstimulation and that overwhelm, even while you're sorting, because that happens to me sometimes, just depending on the mood I'm in before I even get started decluttering. Sometimes it can just become so overstimulating that I literally get dizzy. My anxiety goes through the roof. I feel like I'm drowning in the clutter. I don't know even how to move forward. It feels like just way too much to think about and figure out where it's all going to go. And I start to overthink it all. And then I just start to drown under the clutter. And then I just want to walk away from it. Then I'll just put it all back in one pile and I'll be like, oh, I'll deal with this later. And then I'm still left with the clutter. I haven't gotten anywhere. And then there begins all that internalizing of the negative self-talk of feeling like a failure because I did not accomplish the goal I set out for decluttering the space in my home, feeling like I just failed. And then that leads into feeling depressed. And it's just this vicious cycle of having clutter in your home, but feeling anxious or depressed and unmotivated to clean your house or declutter, and then feeling bad about it, which leads to depression. And then you feeling stuck again and not having the motivation to clean the mess, but wanting it clean, wanting to become a minimalist, but don't know how to get there because the vicious cycle. Okay. And there's actually a scientific study that was done which proves the correlation between a messy house and clutter, and women who live in messy homes with clutter, it affects their mental health. Basically proved that women who live in messy homes or homes full of clutter, their cortisol levels increase. So it raised their cortisol levels, which is a stress hormone. So the more clutter they lived around, the higher their levels of stress were, which makes perfect sense because I am living proof of that. I could tell you I'm super, super stressed when I even think about the clutter in my home. And that's why this messy to minimal journey is so important to me. So now that we have sorted out and we have decluttered through the piles and we have made our trash pile, donation pile, and our keep pile, now comes the time where you put all of your keep items away. So I was able to free up a lot of space in this desk, and what I like to store in their desk is their arts and crafts, also electronic parts like their little speakers and cords and just odds and ends, some fidgets, things like that. Learning books, everything was organized very nicely. So for this space, majority of the clutter was toys. So that was majority of the keep pile. And I like to store all the toys in this IKEA cubicle unit, and it makes cleaning up for my son super easy as well. I will link this below. And as you can see here, I came up with 2 bags of trash and also the pile of paintings that we're going to get rid of. We don't have to store and collect dust. And then look at all of these donation items. I'm super excited. I know that it's going to make some little boy or girl happy to have these. Well, I really hope that today's video brought you one step closer in your messy to minimal journey and took you past that overwhelm where you were able to get started decluttering at least one small space or clutter pile in your home so that you feel lighter and freer from the clutter and the mess. Because on this minimalism journey, we are all about decluttering our home, mind, and soul. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. And if you liked the video, please click that thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed so you get the next upload when I come back. Stay mighty and God bless.